What's going on, guys? Welcome to another live session with your boy Phrankleen. Let's see who's online. If you're watching this as a playback, thank you for stopping by. So today's discussion is going to be about the ongoing ill treatment against Africans in China. If you can see me, hit the like button. Good evening, good evening, good evening. Hello, everybody. Hey. Yewande, Esther, Kingsley, David Osilaja. What's going on, my brother? Yeah. Right. So, Mr. Olugbayi, how you doing, bro? Edinburgh. Wow. Anyways, so thank you for joining me tonight. I tried to keep this as brief as possible. As everyone is aware, there's ongoing uproar about the ill treatment of Africans in China. So I just want us to have a brief chat about it. If you can see me, give us a thumb up, okay? Give us a thumb up. Right. So a few days ago, as you know, we had a breaking news, on social media. It went, viral. Videos of Africans being, maltreated across China. Now, initially the emphasis was on Nigerians and stuff, but when I dug a bit deeper, I realized that it's just not, the ill treatment was not just aimed at Nigerians alone. Basically, it was aimed at anyone black, okay, which comprises of Kenyans, Ghanaians, and several other, African nationalities and stuff. So, but after looking at all those devastating videos and stuff like that, there's so many. Like the Nigerian ones, they had their passports confiscated unlawfully by the Chinese officials and stuff. But interestingly, I've got my note here. A Nigerian diplomat, who's based in Guangzhou province, managed to stand up for the oppressed Nigerians. So he approached the Chinese officials, and he was able to basically run by them what the law says. So by illegally or unlawfully confiscating Nigerian passports, it doesn't belong to China, which was a point that I found really interesting. So he was able to retrieve those confiscated passports, which they belong to the Nigerian government. And the same diplomat was also able to get food for some of these Nigerians that were stranded and stuff. Then when I dug a bit deeper, I realized that Kenyans were also subjected to the, ongoing ill treatment. So like I said, it spanned across, so blacks are specifically targeted across China, which is outbreaking. Now, what really caught my attention is, social media has been helpful. A lot of content creator, Wadimaya being one of them on YouTube, have been using their voices and platform, to highlight these problems and stuff. And people have been watching Twitter and everything. But it's not particularly surprising for me, because if you notice, the mainstream media have been very quiet. They have been quiet, the top names, I don't want to list them, you know them. They've been very quiet, and I'm sure social media allows for a lot of these people to be aware of what's going on and how people are being treated. So Black lives doesn't exactly matter. So the long and short is I'm of the opinion that, because one thing that actually caught my attention is, I saw video clips, devastating video clips of a lot of what's it called now? A lot of Africans were being forcefully, isolated by the Chinese into their homes. It's these selective isolation is the one that causes what do you call it now? That basically stands out as a form of discrimination against black folks. Because if you're going to have a shutdown, if you are going to have a if you're going to have a shutdown, let me have a quick look. If if we're going to have a shutdown, I think the shutdown should be for everybody, be you white, Chinese, Asian, African. The shutdown should be collectively for everybody if truly there is a justifiable, reason for that shutdown. But the shutdown was basically they were actually selecting and hounding black folks and getting them off the streets, locking them in their apartments. Then I saw the video clip of a man a father with kids. That moved me to tears. The guy was asking these Chinese officials, I've got a little daughter. My wife is ill. If we need water, if we need food, what do we do? The Chinese official actually said, you can come underneath the little space under your door and keep shouting for us. If we hear your voice, we will be able to come give you water, which makes no sense. Our people are being treated like animals and stuff. But somebody's saying it's buffering. Can you hear me? Can you see me? Because I can see this clearly. It's not buffering here. Can you see me? Can you hear me? Right, thanks. So I'm talking about the selective isolation, which is evident discrimination, the confiscation of passports, other Africans collectively, maltreated. And another thing that I saw is they they had police officers on bikes with face masks, with sticks and batons and stuff, and they were basically moving and following the blacks on the street. So there was a group of Nigerians who were staying in a particular hotel. They said they forced them into 14 days isolation, and after the 14 days isolation, everyone checked out fine. They had no corona, they had nothing like that, no viruses, nothing. And then they forced them onto the streets, and these people ended up sleeping on the streets, under the bridge, and stuff like that. You must have seen the videos yourself. And this is what I think the Chinese are trying to do. The blacks are easy target, and it's a form of fraudulent misrepresentation, trying to create a false narrative as though the black people are the ones who have brought some sort of what do you call it now? Brought some sort of pandemic to their country, which is in fact a lie. So they're using that to further sabotage us and ruin and defame us, so that these false narrative can be bought into globally. Now, there was another video of a heavily pregnant black woman that went into the hospital with her husband, and they turned her away. They wouldn't let her come in. They wouldn't give her treatment. They wouldn't give her checkups. The only person that I've seen so far was that diplomat from Nigeria who was spoken very strongly and challenged them, was able to retrieve the unlawfully confiscated Nigerian passports and made it clear to them that they were acting illegally. They were acting outside, of their powers. They had no right, because confiscating a bunch of Nigerian passport, even if it's one, it's like you are seizing the whole country. And I actually learned something from that. So, what I've learned from this so far, long and short, is the world doesn't care about black lives. Okay, the mainstream media, I've looked and looked, nobody's reporting this, nobody's saying anything. They're turning their blind eye to the ongoing hoax, global hoax that's trapping everybody indoors. They don't care. There is also what I worry about is for all those black folks that are stranded in China, that are being hounded, that are on the streets, that are sleeping rough. They might be subjected to, you know, organ harvesting, kidnap, and perhaps being committed unlawfully to prisons or being killed off. And it's heartbreaking. Thankfully, and you know, Alonga baby, thank you. If you're watching me, there's about 150 people online right now, man. 151 actually. Hit the like button, hit the like button, hit the like button, okay? Yeah. So the long and short, I think this is a common knowledge. We all know this. So blacks are easy target. There isn't adequate support from our nations, from our leaders. So it's just left to you and I to try to fight. And the truth is we cannot do anything by ourselves. And it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking because they know this. These people are powerful. They know that they can do just about anything to us. And there is one thing that that diplomat said, that Nigerian diplomat. There are several thousands of Chinese in Nigeria. The Chinese can never be treated that way. In fact, they are treated like gods in Nigeria. A lot of our people work for them as domestic helps. They give them a red carpet welcome, and they even infringe on the fundamental human rights of our citizens, but they are allowed to get away with just about anything because the government allows them. Do I still endorse Sendwave? Yes, Sendwave is a good app to use. Uh, so with Sendwave, you can send money from Ireland, Spain, Italy, United Kingdom, United States of America to Ghana, Kenya, Nigeria, Tanzania, and Uganda within the two shakes of a duck, still from the comfort of your home, your office, wherever you are. Okay. Use my name, Phrankleen, as it's spelled on my channel. And today is the 13th, right? Between today and tomorrow, 14th, you get 10 you get 10 pounds added to your first transaction. 10 pounds, $10 or 10 euros added to your first transaction. After tomorrow, it goes to 5 pounds, $5 or 5 euros. All right. No, somebody said I sound a bit nasal. That's true. I've just got a bit of block nose. At this time of the year, it have like a bit of a flu. It happens to me every year. So after a few days, I'll be all right. But I'm fine. That's why I'm having a hot cup of tea anyway. Thank you. There ain't none of that bull crap, man. Gavin, there ain't none of that bull crap, okay? Don't allow your brain to be controlled by the elites. There ain't none of that bull crap here. Okay? We stay clean, we stay healthy. I, keep my safe distance. I look after myself. I'm a grown man. All right? Stop making assumptions on my timeline like you know how I live my daily life. All right? I think these global problem has basically kind of turned people to monsters in their own right. I don't get it. If you go outside now as we speak and your nose just feels slightly ticklish, and then who is this? Get on with it. Who is this, man? And your nose feels ticklish, and then you sneeze. People would panic and start thinking maybe you got something. They basically mentally condition people. We've become less tolerant. I'm not saying don't keep your safe distance. I'm not saying don't look after yourself, but we should also remember that we're humans, okay? Don't allow the society to condition you and turn you to what and who you are not. It's very important. So like I was saying, the world have been pretty much quiet. The whole thing about talking about China and how blacks are being treated has been the efforts of particularly content creators within the black community mostly. A lot of people have been churning out contents. Myself, Wadimaya, so many people with big with YouTube platforms, people with what do you call it now? Twitter accounts have been doing their very best. In fact, I happen to know that some of these videos are even being demonetized by YouTube. Why they are doing that, I don't get it. Okay, these are very uh, important matters that affect us, affect our lives. But then I'm not particularly surprised. I'm not. The Black lives, it's like we fight so hard to be heard, we fight so hard to be listened to. They really don't care about us, man. This is why I keep saying at every opportunity that I have, we are our best. What do you call it, man? We are our best. Yeah, man. If you want to super chat your boy, super chat your boy. Thank you, man. Give me the thumb button, man. We are our best, assets. We are our best assets. Nobody cares, man. The saddest thing is not even one African leader has come to say anything. Yeah, I've seen a couple of people within the Nigerian hierarchy have been doing a bit of talking, but it's not the type of it's not been dealt with in a way that the Chinese are meant to be kept on their toes. They're trying to, portray the false narratives as if, the Africans are toxic. We are the ones who brought them the pandemic, which is in fact a lie. Whatever pandemic is out there, the problems, were generated from Wuhan, from those parts of the world. It has nothing to do with us, but we are easy targets. And when you're an easy target, bullies, when they know that you can't fight back or you haven't got a backup, they will hound you. And I feel sorry for these people, man. I feel sorry. I mean, it's hard enough, when you say you live in the West. I know exactly what it feels like living in the parts of the world, these parts of the world. Now talk of places like China. It's unbelievable, man. Let me look at this. Franklin, do you think governments secretly control YouTube, censor, certain topics? I don't know. I can't, exactly say certain things for a fact, but there's evidently, bias. There's been cases, well documented cases, whereby when certain people put things on the platform and say certain things that people in high places don't like, they feel uncomfortable about, they go after those people's accounts and they pull them down. Point blank simple. That happens all the time. That happens all the time. Yep. Please, let's give kudos to the Nigerian diplomat stood up for his compatriots. Yes, absolutely. You're right, Tony's fine. That man did an amazing. I haven't seen that in a long time, to see a Nigerian diplomat. He went in there, and there is nothing much more infuriating than you look at these Chinese folks, right? They're so laid back, and they were in fact trying to insult the man's intelligence. They were pretending, like I've done something wrong, and then I'm pretending as if, sorry, what happened? What are you talking about? As if nothing happened. So they're trying to pretend as if the man has just come to shout at them. There is nothing to see. There's no problems. This all of this is discredit frauds and try to, just minimize the palaver, and just put negative spotlights on the Africans instead. When the footballer Delay Ali mocked the Chinese man, it was on every news, of course, and all over the media. Now, China have taken liberties with black people. No one cares, right? The Nigerian consulate spoke with authority. He also snatched back those passports. Yes, that was my favorite part of the whole thing. They unlawfully confiscated those passports. But I'm so glad that he barged in there and was able to tell them that and it's true when you think about it. If you look at your American passports, it's the property of the US government. If you look at the British passport, it's the property of the British government. The Nigerian passport is the property of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It doesn't belong to the Chinese. So to unlawfully confiscate it was basically to destabilize both mentally and physically in terms of movement. Destabilize, the owners of those passports or the bearers of those passports. It's just all illegalities, procedural illegalities, violation of human rights, blatant disregard, discrimination, racism. The list goes on, man. A pregnant woman was turned away from a black woman from the hospital and they wouldn't touch them. So basically, they're treating us like, hey, whoa, 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 you got a problem. Don't come close to us, type of thing. It's all orchestrated, man. It's all designed. It's all deliberately designed to try to, sell the false narrative globally and show us as if we are the ones with the problem. Bill Gates is still, going around and pushing his false and deadly narrative. They want to move into Africa, aggressively have Africans on the lockdown, and finish us off with vaccination. That's what this is about. Oh, thank you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. God bless. Thank you. Do we have leaders in Africa? The answer is no. No. Majority of African leaders are puppets. I think we all should agree on that. They are puppets. They are controlled by the elites from the West. It's as simple as that. Majority of African leaders, majority of them are corrupt, unbelievably corrupt. I am, as usual, very angry by the reactions of African leaders. Yeah. And let me say this. There's this woman called Abike Dabiri. Oh, is that a name? She's what does she do for Nigerian immigration? Can somebody help me? Is she called Abike? Is she Abike Dabiri is a name, right? Has a job with the Nigerian High Commission, right? I listened to her interview on YouTube, and do you know that she was actually, yeah, Abike Dabiri, she was, these are one of the puppets that we're talking about. This woman was blatantly condemning the citizens of Nigeria that were evidently maltreated by the Chinese. She said, oh, they should have gone to the High Commission. They only asked them to check out of the hotel, and then they got into the streets, and they were what? Sorry, who checks out of a hotel and makes a conscious decision to go and sleep under the bridge? So they checked out of the hotel, and man, of course she's a puppet. She is a puppet. Of course she is. This is what I'm saying. It's ridiculous. She said we'll go abroad to seek asylum and then run to her after being rejected. She continues saying Nigerians there are not telling the truth. So yeah, you see what I'm saying? So if you have somebody in a powerful position, here is a question that I need to ask, and this is logical reasoning. Has Abike Dabiri spoken to each and every black person, or let me say particularly Nigerian, because she's a Nigerian official, right? Has she spoken to each and every one of them to understand their narrative, their situation, for her to then confirm based on evidences and say, oh, the entirety of these people are in fact lying. The Chinese did nothing wrong. So you're sitting in a powerful position, and then you put out such a dangerous narrative to discredit your people. And you know what? The world would listen to that woman, and then they look away from the struggle of the common citizens. It's all deliberate. It's all deliberate. Hit the like button. Hit the like button. There's 223 people online. Hit the like button. You know when people say she needs to resign, I would love for her to resign. But you know what the truth is? She was handpicked. She was put in that position. Do you see what I'm saying? So who is going to remove her? In a society where there is genuine, a reliable accountability structure, you and I can sleep comfortably at night, knowing that, oh, justice will be served. She will definitely be kicked out of her seat tomorrow morning. But it's not going to happen because they are corrupt from the bottom all the way to the top. So the video of the Nigerian consulate was just made up. All shit had to do is view it. They should, man. These people, man. The underlying fact is that Nigeria is already mortgaged to China, not just China, man, to the West. She even insisted that they should go and register at the Nigerian embassy. How can they go when it's at night? They are in the street. Do you know what's laughable? Do you know what's laughable? You see, when you hear people like Abike talking like that, every Nigerian, especially those in the diaspora, can confidently talk and agree with me tonight that the services of most Nigerian high commission across the globe is absolutely shambolic. I've been there before. There's so many victims of disgraceful services. There was a case of that gentleman that had a clash with the Nigerian High Commission here in the UK, down in London, that had to smash the diplomats, cars out of frustration. Now, let me put a disclaimer. I'm not sat here upholding violence or supporting violence towards the diplomats, or I'm not suggesting that, he should have smashed their cars. But they treat people like filth. There are numerous evidences of extortion in the past where they want to unscrupulously obtain extra monies off you after you've paid for your passport applications, all sorts of delays and ridiculous. The staffs are very rude, honestly. And you have the likes of Abike Dabiri come to the public domain, disseminate such falsehood and discredit the citizens of Nigeria who are victims of blatant discrimination. 230 people online. Give us a thumb up. Police. My only surprise was that we didn't see or hear from our Minister of Foreign Affairs. They're all in the background, man. They're all in the background. They are all in the background. So basically, where it stands now in a nutshell is the Nigerian officials are basically saying they demand explanation from the Chinese, blah, 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 blah. I can assure you that the whole thing is going to get watered down. Do you get what I'm saying? Oh, we demand explanation, behind closed doors. Again, diplomatic ties and politics and all that. They'll try to sweep things under the carpet. And that's the problem. That is the problem. That is the problem. We want people to be held accountable, but I doubt very much, man. The issue many of our leaders have is they know they do not have defense. Don't forget the health and safety hazard of Nigerian High Commission. And oh yeah, 100%. Yeah. So, the people, thanks to us content creators, this is why we ask you to support us, okay? When we use our platform, the likes of Wodimaya and so many people who have been pushing and banging our contents. If we didn't, the mainstream media dead quiet. You know why they're quiet? Eerily quiet. The simple reason why they're quiet is they are not bothered. They don't care. They're not there to speak up and condemn China. They're not interested. So we need ourselves, man. We need unity amongst ourselves. They're not bothered. Anyway, that's me done. Let's keep the conversation going on below. Show your love. Thank you for coming out tonight. I said I was going to be brief, not take too long. I'll be back tomorrow night for another live session. Let's keep the conversation going in the comment section. It's your boy Phrankleen. Catch you in the next one. Peace and love.